If you've been gardening for any length of time, I bet you've heard of compost tea. But have you heard of supercharged compost tea? You want to feed your plants organically, but a bag of worm castings doesn't seem to go very far. And if you made compost, that doesn't seem to go very far either. Well, I'm going to teach you how to make a supercharged compost tea that'll stretch your compost or your worm castings 25, 50, maybe even 100 times. It's easy and it's pretty cheap to do. I'm going to use worm castings, but you can use compost that is completely composted and ready to use. Now, in the compost or in the worm castings, there's friendly bacteria, friendly fungi, friendly nematodes, and what we're doing to supercharge the compost tea is we're going to feed it. And so after about a week or even 2, our water is going to be teeming with even more good bacteria, fungi, and nematodes. So the supplies you're going to need an air pump. I went to a local pet store and found mine where they sell fish supplies. And this is what that looks like. And you are going to need some electricity to do this with, of course, air pump. I had to buy the tubing separate and the aerator stone separately as well. So those 3 things are your initial cost, as well as if you purchased worm castings or purchase compost. You're going to need to feed all that friendly stuff that's in the water. I'm going to use organic molasses. You can use fish emulsion or seaweed emulsion. And you're also going to need a tea bag. Now, I found some really good cleaning cloths in Walmart where, not where the chemicals are, but on the housekeeping side of Walmart, where they sell things like, I don't know, scrubbies and things like that. This is actually 1/4 of a cloth. It reminds me of diapers that I used to put on my baby's bottoms 40 years ago. It's perfect to make a tea bag with for compost. And you're going to need to hang that tea bag in the water with a simple string or twine. Let's head over to the shed where I have electricity available, and I'll show you just how easy this is. I have the luxury of well water. There is no chlorine in this water. If your water has chlorine in it and you have no other source of water, then fill up your bucket a day or 2 ahead of time, and the chlorine should pretty much dissipate out of it. I don't know how that works, but it is a gas, so most of it will come out of your water. Otherwise, filter it through a charcoal filter. This is the easy part. Just pour, I guess that's about 2 cups of compost or worm castings right in the center. Just draw it up. See, just twist it a little bit so you can get the string around it. Tie a good knot around it. Right over left, left over right. That will create a knot that's not going to come undone. Now we're going to dunk it right into the water. Before I do that, I'm going to add 1/4 to 1/3 cup of molasses. Give it a good stir. Okay, and now I'm going to tie it right here. Slide that down there. That's sitting down on the bottom, just so it's not suspended. And watch this. Now, all you do is wait. If you want to come back and stir it a little bit throughout the week, that's fine. Just to give you the satisfaction that that molasses or the fish emulsion or whatever you use is stirred all in there and dissolved good. It's been a week. It doesn't smell bad at all, I promise. First thing you do is unplug it. This is the yucky part. Gonna have to clean all that off of there. Okay, now I'm squeezing. Now I'm going to save that, and I'm going to mix it in with some of this water as I go along. But for right now, I'm just going to set that to the side too. If you're going to be watering the soil directly around the edges of your plant, then you don't have to filter this. All you've got to do is stir it up, dip it out, and you don't have to dilute it. See the color here? Just water your plants just like it is. This is safe enough to use on tender little seedlings, but it's also powerful enough to use on plants that are established. Now, I would recommend, if you have a sprinkler, it's got this little thing on the end, just take that off. I'm going to leave it on for now because when I take it off, some of the water will spill out of there, so I'm going to take it out to my flower bed before I take it off. You can also use it as a foliar spray, but you will have to filter it so you don't clog the jets of your sprayer. And all I've done here is a nice strainer with a coffee filter. So it looks to me like the filter gets clogged after just one fill. So just keep that in mind. You're trying to filter this water in order to use it as a foliar spray. I'm going to go water my plants just as it is. My focus right now is the health of my strawberry plants and the seedlings that I've already started for the spring garden. And that is what I'm going to use my supercharged compost tea for. You want to be sure and use your water within 24 hours, maybe 48. After that, all the get out here! Get! Be sure to use your water within about 24 hours. After that, the benefits seem to just go downhill. If you can't use it within 24 hours, just put the aerator back on it and you can go for another week. Aren't they beautiful? I've got the nets on here to keep the birds and the insects away from the berries. So be sure to check that video out. I'll put a link in the description below. I have about a half a bucket of water left, and I'm going to go ahead and use it for the plants that I'm potting up. So I have tomatoes and peppers that are ready, and I'm going to water that soil with this liquid here. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and dump all this in there, and it'll make a real thin slurry, and that's what I'm going to use for the seedlings. And if I have anything left from that, then I'll probably thin it out just a little bit, just enough so I can water some more from that slurry. And I'll probably use it on my broccoli that needs a little bit of a boost. So I'm going to stir this up real good. And when I'm ready to pot up, either this afternoon or first thing tomorrow, I'm going to use this water to supercharge that soil that those seedlings are going to be going into. Oh, what are you doing down in there? Get out of there.
Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me.